We did it, guys. I want to thank all of you for helping my channel grow to this point of being able to become a YouTube partner. It means the world to me that it's happened at all, but especially as quickly as it has. It means the world. Thank you so much. A bunch of you who don't subscribe, please consider doing so. It's free and it would mean a lot to get this channel to 100K. To the person who said I looked tired, well, I am a mother of 3. I have an infant and I had been very sick. I don't wear makeup, but I'll try to do better. Hi guys, I have a special treat for you today. I will be doing part 3 of the tell-all recap, but I've also included a little bit of a Q&A special regarding myself for those of you who are interested. If you're not interested, I'll give you a timestamp so you can skip right ahead to the recap, and that's totally fine. But for those of you who have been interested, I've just attached some more personal shots from my life and a little bit of a Q&A from questions I've received in the comments section. It was a beautiful day, and I decided to take my son out for a walk. It was nice and sunny, and there's lots of flowers and trees and stuff, and it's starting to get nice out and time to spend less time inside and more time outside pretty soon. And I just thought I'd give you guys a little clip of what my beautiful neighborhood looks like. And I don't even live in one of the most nice neighborhoods in Victoria, but it was a nice day.
Welcome back to Rust Reality Recaps, where we cover all things 90 Day Fiancé, trash reality TV, and garbage human beings. You may notice I'm not in my studio at the moment. Normally I would be in my studio, but my studio is my dining room, and I get no bloody privacy in there. My son is up playing video games in the living room. My husband's up pacing around in the tool room, which is just next to the kitchen I don't know what he's doing. I don't have any space to myself at this house. I would love it if I had my own room or my own office space for a studio or a basement or a shed or something. That would be great. Yeah, the land where I live, that's really unattainable. So this is my special, I don't know what to call it, the YouTube Partner Program special. I want to thank everyone who helped get me to this place. When I started this channel up around Halloween, I really wasn't sure where it would go. And I'll be honest, the growth has exceeded what I honestly expected. So it's still been a bit of a slow burn, and I notice sometimes like my subscriber count will go up and then it'll drop a few. I don't know if I offend people and they dip, or if it's a YouTube thing, but I hope I can continue putting out content that people will enjoy. I find myself at a bit of a crossroads with the channel, because when I started it up, it was just to do recaps of TV shows that I watch. And it's like been specifically 90 Day Fiancé. A few other shows I've slipped in, but they didn't get any traction. Yeah, when I did Meghan Markle content, it really got traction and it really helped my channel grow. But I didn't start my YouTube channel to sit there and scrutinize and nitpick every single thing Meghan Markle does every single day. I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to that. Every once in a while I'll put something together, but there's so many channels that pick apart every single thing she does every single day, and I just can't be one of those channels. So I don't really know what to do. You guys could let me know in the comments what you think. Like, maybe I should start a different channel for that, or if I should continue doing what I've been doing and just do what I want and put it in when I want, and that's fine. I don't just want to cover specifically 90 Day Fiancé, because sometimes it's like not fun to recap it. I like to do it when I have a bunch of things to say, but doing episode by episode is kind of draining. So I wanted to change up the style a little bit of how I was doing it, but I also am a bit of a stickler for consistency. I don't know if it's like an ADHD thing or an OCD thing, but I want it all to match, like a series, right? So I got to finish what I started. So when Last Resort's done, I'm taking a new approach with the OG 90 Day. That's why it's been slow to get out. And thanks for being patient, those of you who are waiting and sticking around for it. And yeah, there's other shows I'd like to talk about. Last of Us. I mean, I didn't play the games, but I watched my brother play the games. And yeah, my partner had a lot of things to say about Bella Ramsey that I'm not going to repeat, but the internet seems to agree. But this show looks like it's going in the same direction as The Witcher and all those other shows like Acolyte and all those other like DEI. The shows are being ruined with all this diversity garbage, and as a woman, I don't necessarily want to be pandered to with all this crap. Seeing a tiny little girl beat a 250-pound man is just nonsensical. In real life, her fucking nose and teeth would have been broken, and it was just ridiculous. But that's what these shows are like now. And The Witcher, don't even get me started on what happened with The Witcher. So anyway, I'm rambling now. I'm actually down at the sports field at the end of the street, so I don't want to make too much of a ruckus out here. There's parks, but it's also residential, so I don't know if people will hear me or not. And then I'll meander back on home after I'm done sitting here. So I said I would do a Q&A for the special, and I didn't get too many questions, which is fine. But I had gotten a couple, so I guess I'll try to answer those few questions now. The first question was, what was my favorite comedian? I'm going to say right now, it's sad that I can't think of too many female comedians outside of like Tina Fey. But growing up, I really enjoyed watching John Leguizamo talk about his life on stand-up, because it was like dark and gritty humor. And Richard Pryor probably was a little inappropriate for me at the age I was watching that, but that's fine. I grew up watching Mad TV, so a lot of the guys on there. Fred Armisen on Portlandia, I find him just a darling. He's just a delight. Yeah, that's all I can think of at the top of my head, but I'm sure I'm missing some. What else? My favorite movie. Well, I can't answer my favorite movie because I have too many favorite movies, but if I was to go with top 5, from childhood, it would be Secret Garden, not the new one. For horrors, I would have to put in Beyond the Black Rainbow. I can always watch Interview with the Vampire. Mandy was really good. That's like the best Nicolas Cage movie. What else? Okay, so I've listed, what was that, 4? Okay, so I can put in one more. One more. Jaws. Like, if we're talking movies that you are like psychologically impacted by and that you could watch any time and get an emotional reaction out of or not be bored, definitely those. So what else? Someone asked, where am I from? So I currently live on the west coast of Canada, on Vancouver Island, but I wasn't born here. My family originates in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I have Northern Irish, Métis, and Ukrainian heritage, and I think Scottish a little bit. And I left Winnipeg around 16 with a fake ID on a Greyhound and went to Jasper, Alberta to start my life as an adult. I started working at hotels and the subway and got various employments. The best job of my life was at the cafe. It was called Cafe Mondo. My boss there was just a fantastic woman. She was like a surrogate mother to me. And I have to say, probably an angel, because she was so patient with me. I can be a really frustrating person to deal with, and I haven't been able to hold down a lot of jobs when I was young because of my learning disability and my social anxiety. And that lady was always so good to me. She had plenty of opportunity to let me go, and she never did. When I found out that she sold the cafe, I mean, I was happy for her, but I was so sad that her restaurant was gone. When I took my daughter to Jasper and it wasn't there, it was a blow. I miss the food and the coffee so much sometimes. Whenever I'm trying to eat healthy, Reen, I always use your recipes. So, and then we left Jasper and made a brief stop back in Winnipeg because I was really homesick after about 4 or 5 years. So I remember I hitchhiked home once. I hitchhiked home from Jasper to Winnipeg. I wanted to go to the coast initially, but I heard about how girls got picked up on the highway of tears and murdered on that pig farm, Picton's farm. So I did not go that way. I ended up going back home. But that didn't last, and I ended up coming out to the coast. Shortly after that, I got pregnant with my daughter, and that was 13 years ago. So, be a long story to go into after that, so I'll just leave that there. That was like the adventure of my life, I think. I don't think I've had any adventures like that since then. Almost died on a mountain once. Almost fell into a cliff. Didn't let go. But it was one of those instances where had I let go of the ledge, because I can't do a chin-up, I would have fallen to my death. I remember accepting, too, that this is where I'm going to die now. But I also got really scared about how much it was going to hurt and how I wasn't going to die instantly. I was going to lay there broken and bleeding for days. And that scared me and upset me enough to, I guess the adrenaline kicked in, so I was able to basically do a chin-up and pull myself up. Yeah, but having children really tamed things down. I try not to be as reckless now. I still have made a lot of stupid decisions in my life, and those closest to me will know that. And you know, after having my latest baby, I've really retreated into my home life. I'm trying to be a better mother and trying to focus on sobriety. And this YouTube channel is an outlet because what I used to do was music production and art and doing paint pours and making music was a lot of fun, but right now I feel like it would be a huge trigger for some of my substance issues. So and unfortunately with my social anxiety also comes a lot of need to want to use substances. So I find myself isolating from my friends. I don't answer messages. I think about people often, but I'm terrible about reaching out or calling or texting. So, you know, it's I'm kind of a shitty friend, but I'm just doing it to kind of take care of myself and focus on my children and my family. And so, yeah, this YouTube channel taking off in a way has been really great. It's been a great outlet because otherwise I don't think I'd have much going on outside my children. I'm still debating about going back to work or not. I mean, I have to go back to work. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I have to go back to work, but whether I'm going to go back full time or not is the question. So, was there anything else that I was supposed to answer that I may not have? I have my 2 cats, Littlefoot and Omar. They're doing great. Omar's getting fat as hell. He was one of the runts of the litter, and he's gotten so big. Foot is skittish as ever, though. I don't know what his issue is. I don't know what it is. Siamese cats, they're so afraid of everything. Everything frightens them. So my children. I have a 13-year-old daughter, an 11-year-old son, and my 10-month baby. And I'm very lucky and I'm very blessed. I live a very charmed life in that aspect, and I always pray that my children will have a long, healthy life, and that I will have a long, healthy life for my children. I haven't always appreciated my life, but as a mother, it's important to be there for your kids. So, that's my journey. I think I'm going to get out of the park and start walking home. I think there's hours about this place being open and closed, so you never know. In Victoria, someone can always come up and scold you for not following the rules. Back in the studio now, let's get into the recap. One of you left me a comment saying that you couldn't believe that I was defending Jasmine, and that was really weird. Well, if you actually paid attention to the whole video, I wasn't defending Jasmine, I was defending her baby. There is not much to defend there with Jasmine, trust me. I think it was because I wasn't happy with Rob's wording and his vigor towards her, but we've already been over that.
Part 3 of the Last Resort Couples Tell All. I can't believe it. How many parts do you think they're going to make it? 5? 4? Well, it's definitely not 3 now, so anyway. Last we left off, it was Stacy, Florian, Darcy, and Georgie, and Sean. Always move along when things get heated, but we'll sit there and let ridiculous assaults break out. It was Sauce. Sauce was defending Sean that she's a 60-year-old, 100-pound woman. What is she supposed to do? She's just following the producer's instructions. And I guess that makes sense. I guess he's right. It's not all Sean's design. But Sean and the production team definitely embody that these relationships are not cared for. Nobody gives a fuck if these people stay together or not.
You don't care?
I don't care.
There you go. You're learning, my friend. You're learning.
Pitting them against each other like this throughout the entire season, never mind the tell-all, it's so obvious. The more drama, the better. More money, more viewers.
Woo! More money, more money! Ah!
Okay, I'm rambling. So essentially, Sean asks Georgie if he thinks that Florian should be trusted, and Georgie says, well, it depends what kind of trust, because Florian does respect Stacy and he doesn't cheat, but he may go out and flirt from time to time. I mean, I guess we could all see that. They seem like they have a pretty party lifestyle, if you catch my drift. Certain things I don't want to say.
Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
But it was insinuated that Darcy and Florian probably go and, snow skiing from time to time, and I could see that. I got that vibe from them. Essentially, it comes out that while Stacy doesn't trust Georgie, Darcy doesn't trust Florian. So, I mean, both their relationships are just screwed up. Speaking of screwed up, Darcy's face just really saddens me on what she's done to it. I just can't get over it. And she's done more.
Guys, so let's get back on track. So we're going to move on. Let's get back on track. So, okay, quick break. Back on track. So, okay, we're going to move on now. Back on track. All right, I don't think we're going to resolve this tonight, so let's move on.
Sorry, guys, that was my little fever dream of how many times Sean will shut down a conversation once it's getting good. There's always time to move along, except for when it should be time to move along. Oh my god, it's so frustrating. But for some reason, we needed to go over the whole story of Florian walking the drunky girl home. And I'll be honest, guys, maybe I'm gullible, maybe I'm naive, but I trust and believe Florian. Maybe not if everyone keeps accusing him of things. Maybe then he'll just do it out of spite, because when you're guilty of something, you might as well do it, right? But
Yeah, I like Florian. I mean, it turns out they're not together currently, so I guess they didn't work their shit out. But yeah.
We track each other. And that night, his, tracking was off.
I thought this was really fucked. Like, I've never felt the need to track my spouse, ever.
Oh, interesting.
But they do.
The location sharing was off. I don't know how. I don't know how it got turned off.
And apparently this was a nothing burger. Stacy's just an idiot and doesn't know how to use technology.
It just wasn't working and I couldn't track it. And this was a few days before the resort. That's shady. Why is you probably not into music?
I'm so confused about this problem. Like, I don't understand if Florian turned off his location or if she turned it off because she doesn't know how to use it, but it seems like a nothing burger of a problem.
Hey, did you guys hear that Jasmine already had her baby? I know a lot of people are going to be against it and hating on her and that baby and probably Matt, but my heart goes out to that baby.
I'm telling you, that baby could be the star of a show called Babies I Don't Care About.
Next we have Ari telling Florian that he's a bully and a piece of crap.
What I did to Stacy, what I yelled.
You bully women and it's sad.
What the are you talking to me? You don't understand what the you're saying? You're serious.
I do feel sorry for you.
Jeez.
Florian's pissed and feeling defensive because, obviously Ari's accusing him of treating Stacy poorly, but he explains that she's the one that deleted the location, not him.
No, Harry's deleted, no,
She
me.
deleted.
Yeah.
Sean seems just as confused as I am about this, so I think she's gonna shut it down and make us move on. There's no closure to be had here, guys. But first Sean asks Stacy how much she trusts Florian, and Stacy says that she trusts him 7 out of 10, which isn't actually that bad. There's room for improvement, obviously. He just needs to prioritize her, reassure her, and gain her trust after his past mistakes. It could be worse, but I don't know. You have to, at some point, move on from the past and have faith and have trust. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good relationship, and it's going to fizzle out or, end in complete disaster, which it seems like it probably will, because based on what we've seen on the internet, it seems like Florian was with a different woman on Valentine's of this year, 2025. So, moving along.
Okay, we're gonna move on now.
Sean initiates a break time, so the boys go out to smoke and vent to each other about the women, while the women stay on stage to vent to each other about the men. Rob is really frustrated about Ari.
It's like, dog, you don't have much to say. Ari ain't got to say, and she clearly doesn't like us having each other's backs when we feel like we need each other's backs.
Rob, you don't need to be so defensive about needing other men's backs, okay? It's perfectly fine. You should just be out and proud about it. Break time's over. Cast's all back on the stage now. And we're back on with Ari and Benny. And initially I wanted to just skip right through it because I really don't care if Benny cheated on her or not. But it ended up getting interesting. So Benny did admit to cheating on Ari while she was pregnant. So it turns out that she wasn't just being an angry, paranoid side chick. He really had been doing that and lying about it. So I can see why that would make her crazy and act super annoying and all the things, right? Not saying I've changed my opinion on Ari at all, but it just paints it in the light that, yeah, she did actually have to go through that turmoil and frustration. And Benny is kind of a piece of crap for doing that. But, I mean, you lose them the way you found them, right? He had a girlfriend when he met Ari and cheated on her. So, I mean, what did she think was going to happen?
Yep, that's true. You guys never really gave me a chance to say my side of the story, and I'm glad that you're getting it now, but I definitely felt that I never had an opportunity to explain things for you.
So it turns out the reason why she was withholding his social media passwords is because he was getting himself in trouble online.
So, we're gonna move on now.
Why? God damn it, Sean! It was just getting good. So Sean decides it was imperative to bring up how Benny was making the other men feel dancing with their wives, particularly Florian. Piece of shit Benny was ticking off Florian by dancing with Stacy, it turns out. I had no idea. I guess I forgot or missed that scene early on in the season when Florian was getting pissed off for Stacy dancing with Benny. I don't know. I don't see what the problem is. People like dancing, and salsa dancing is its own art form. I mean, look at this woman that totally photobombed. Good job. If you like dancing, dance. You can always got a partner to do so. Typical 90-day fashion, while talking about the thing that pisses him off, they then show him the thing that pisses him off. And then they're like asking him, is this okay? How do you feel about this, Florian? Does this make you mad? Does this trigger you? And you can see he's sitting there seething. He's super pissed off about it. And then they decide to rub it in his face and do it right in front of him. I can't believe your lives on this show. Oh my god, like, you see? How do you feel now? How do you feel now, Florian? Is this okay? How does this make you feel? I would never, ever do that. That's a good way to wind up divorced or cheated on, is all I'm gonna say. It's just so ridiculous. I guess anything for attention, right? More screen time, the better. So when Sean asks Florian how this makes him feel and why it bothers him, Florian explains that we're not friends, he needs to show respect, and you making your wife cry is completely disrespectful. And so Benny apologizes.
You travel right away. Like, then you come to my country and flip people around like that. Then you're never going to flip nobody in his life no more.
So Florian explains that culturally that would get Benny's ass beat where he's from. Benny continues to apologize and explain it's his career, and then Rob chimes in.
Just try not to do whatever it is that might make your partner feel disrespected. True. And if that means that you don't get to have as much fun as you want to have, it's like, what's more important? Your partner feels uncomfortable or you having fun?
I love how Rob has all the words of wisdom on how to have a zen and, balanced marriage, yet his with Sophie was a complete fucking dumpster fire. Just so ironic. So we need to talk about Ari for a minute, because I found her story change on Vinny to be very convenient for repairing her reputation, which she seemed ultra concerned about, especially with the drama she had involving Julia. Now, you guys know I'm not fond of Ari whatsoever. I think she's a spoiled brat idiot, but now I think that she is also a bit of a narcissist herself. Check this out. She had this text exchange with Julia.
Did you want to talk about that? I was just joking when I sent those messages.
This is really unclear and confusing to me because I don't know what's going on. Apparently, Ari had sent Julia some text messages jokingly saying, "I hate you, bitch," and allegedly she sent that to her right in front of her, and apparently Julia was supposed to have understood that that was a joke, but later it turns out that maybe it wasn't a joke after all, and there's some confusion.
Why was it deleted then? If it was just a joke, it was a joke. But then they were not taking it as a joke, so I deleted it.
Shitster Jasmine makes an astute point. If it was a joke, why did she delete the text? And this is where Ari's narrative makes no sense to me. She says it was a joke, but as soon as I realized it wasn't taken as a joke, I deleted the texts. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you delete the evidence? If a story is too confusing like this, it's a manipulation, okay? It's Murphy's Law. It's got to be as simple as it is. Not to mention, who sends anyone a text like that?
It doesn't like you, sure hate you, sure jealous of you, she keep going to like... So that is not a joke.
So a cast member, and I'm saying with quotation, Joey air quotation marks in the air, told her that it wasn't a joke and that Ari hates her. So now Julia's confused.
Julia is such a fake. Oh my god.
I think Ari is so manipulative, and I think that she's trying to salvage her own reputation by dragging Julia down and throwing her under the bus right in front of her. The story has too many holes in it. There's too much of a manipulation happening here.
We're so never coming to research again. I'm not going to make any friends. I'm not going to be able to bond with anyone. That when I was getting along with Julia and after the Sophie, I was thinking like, oh man, this is great. We're actually getting along. So I was comfortable enough to be like, I hate you, bitch. In my life, I would, even if I didn't like someone, I would never say that.
Classic Ari, making herself the victim in the story, and then no one can blame her.
She initial TV, she told me I was very mad that you would try to defame me, just like you were saying, and say that I would actually say it out someone. You went behind my back, showed them the message.
This bitch never grew up past high school. All she cares about is her reputation, so she throws Julia's down.
Like you were having a feud. You knew that we were joking at the time. The fact that you would lie, okay, you're saying my biggest mistake was to trust you, and to trust you is
Oh my god, this triggers me so much. This is female gaslighting or manipulation in full effect.
You acted like what?
Oh, so we're back to slut-shaming Julia again? I thought we were finished with that already.
Jesus Christ! I'm really done.
Julia's more patient than I am. I would have got up and, well, maybe I wouldn't have thrown a shoe at her, but spitting, is that assault in New York?
You acted like one.
So after Ari is finished slut-shaming Julia, Sean asks if they have a problem with each other, what the beef is, and Julia explains that she never had a problem with Ari, not from the beginning, not now, not ever, and forces a hug and apology.
I think I was mad because what I understood was that you're saying it wasn't a joke, and so that kind of upset me, thinking that people are thinking I would talk to another woman like that, and I wouldn't. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, Ari makes me so mad, but Julia, being the bigger woman, gets up and gives her a hug.
But I didn't mean to. That's why I just felt like reputation.
And even while Julia's getting up to give her a hug and forgive her, Ari still won't shut up about her side of the story and how she felt and her reputation and blah blah blah. She literally sounds like someone I knew from high school who always had an answer or to excuse their righteous anger for treating me poorly. Even if it was a misunderstanding, well, it was rightfully so because they are justified. Bimmy thanks Ari's mom and they hug it out and Ari hears me.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine. You're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
That was sweet. Very sweet. All right. Well, Janice, it was so all right. I don't think we're going to resolve this tonight, so let's move on. Now, I'd like us to move on.
So we move on to Natalie and Josh, and at first, you guys, I didn't have the emotional capacity or energy to do this. I was going to make this a two-parter of a three-part tell-all, and I was going to take a break and cut it off and render. Then I realized this was the last segment of the episode, so I realized I could power through. I could get through this for you guys and just get it over with. But we already know all the story with Natalie and Josh. I mean, he is a grade A classic F-boy, and Natalie is desperate, and it's really, really sad how she flushed a lot of her opportunities away for this man and a dream. Josh also likes to be really gross and embarrassing and tell the whole production and cast and crew and us about their sex
And
life.
so, I mean, she did.
You are too vulgar.
I'm just saying, that's what the message says.
So apparently, according to Josh, Natalie sends him photos and tells him to come bang her.
She would send me photos of herself, and it would say me, and, these types of things.
That's so humiliating for her that he has to tell everybody that. I would be so pissed off if I was her and probably never hook up with him again. Just for that alone. I mean, there's a plethora of other reasons why she should never hook up with him again, and we'll get into those. But that one alone is so classless and uncouth. Like, you can be more classy, man, and you don't need to tell everybody that you're getting your dink wet. We don't need to know, and quite frankly, we don't care.
We don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
I would be so happy to see Natalie develop some self-respect and not be so desperate for this man, but...
So just looking to other people, it felt like stopping in the back, and I let myself do some stuff. It was just a comment on my page, not on his. She got really worried about the comment, and because you posted something that I'm a bad father and I have a felon living with.
So Josh explains that essentially the reason that their relationship never developed, I mean aside from the obvious reasons that Natalie's crazy, is that he could not trust her to not stir up drama with his baby mamas. Apparently she was shit-talking them on social media, which Natalie flat out denies and says it's the other way around.
All right, I don't think we're going to resolve this tonight, so let's move on.
What? Why, Sean? Why? Sean asks Josh if he ever considered Natalie his girlfriend, and unfortunately for Natalie, he did not. Not once, not ever.
I don't know if we've ever been had official titles of what we are, but I don't think that I would have considered her my girlfriend, no.
What? Poor Natalie. That is a sad and pathetic position to be in at 39 years old for 3 years of your life. I think we've all been there at least once in our lives, hopefully when we were young and not too much later into life, because most of us develop a bit of self-respect, we value ourselves, we start to put it out there that we want more and better for ourselves, and eventually we do find those things. You just have to stop looking around at fuckboys. I mean, I could tell you guys a long story about a saga in my life with my quote-unquote Josh and my Natalie phase, but that was between the ages of 16 to 19, and yeah, I couldn't imagine being in that stage at 39 years old. Natalie has to sit here and listen while Sean asks Josh in front of everyone if he had slept with any other women in the 3 years that they had been seeing each other.
So in that 3-year period, Natalie was the only woman you had sex with?
I mean, probably not.
The boys are all laughing and Sophie's rolling her eyes and knowing, but yeah, Natalie's sitting there dying inside thinking, do I need a fucking STD test? God damn it. Josh is gross. He's proud of himself, and I think he's gross. It was said on Between the Sheets that he has a live-in girlfriend at home who looks just like Natalie but is younger. So why does he need to fuck with Natalie, string her along and break her heart if he has a girlfriend at home?
It's just because the wild sex with Natalie? Like, is it really that good? I don't understand. It's so sad too. Like, it'd be one thing if he was just single and playing the field. Maybe his girlfriend and him are poly. Maybe it's not my place to judge. But he puts his foot down that it's Natalie's behavior is why he couldn't trust her at his home or around his family. Natalie stone cold denies this.
Came down to Natalie calling my ex-wife names, calling her a hooker, calling her all of the names that she's called you guys.
See, I want to believe you, Natalie, but we all know that you love to call women hookers. You've done it multiple times on this show to various people, and we know that you love to call names when you get heated, so it's totally believable.
No.
Yes, she was doing interviews about me. I never thought.
I don't know if Natalie's pulling an Ari and lying through her teeth to save her reputation, but this pisses Josh off.
I really value the relationship with my kids' mothers, and Natalie was a threat to that, and that is the reason Natalie never came over to my house.
Why she speaks about me? Why she attacks me? And he said I'm not responsible for you because we're not together anymore.
That is not a made-up story, and it made me real pissed off if you try and deny it.
Natalie continues to deny it, which is getting on Josh's last nerve, and no one's buying it.
And I say,
no, you are stepping over the line.
It seems like when you are arguing with a child and they're just like, nope, didn't happen.
Look, you're gonna go down this road, Natalie, and I'm gonna get really angry.
At one point, Brandon even says, how the hell did you deal with that for 3 years, man?
It's not true.
Natalie, like, what the
Natalie's blatant lying is like driving Josh insane. And, I don't know if Natalie's gaslighting and manipulating too, or just lying like a child.
I swear to God I did not. And you just want
This is not
me to
something
look
that I'm gonna
bad.
make
It's
up.
not true.
I don't make up fairy tales.
I don't understand how you dealt with that for 3 years.
At one point, even Rob or one of the other cast members chimes in to say, just admit that you made a mistake and apologize. And Natalie's like, nope.
Natalie, you're being a liar. Stop.
No, but you can prove.
You're lying. You're a liar. You're a scam artist.
See, this is a different kind of frustrating. With Ari, I was getting mad because it felt like a mean girl manipulation and gaslighting. But with Natalie, it just seems like arguing with a petulant child. She literally has her arms crossed and her heels dug into the ground and she's pouting. No, I'm not gonna say it. Not happening. You have no proof and you can't make me.
Did you have sex with Josh?
Natalie, nuts.
Become attack means calling me nuts.
Not attack, it's untrue, Natalie. She posts stuff in online, so Julia is a liar.
You put me through. You put me on
I post, you put yourself, Natalie. Ты что, будешь писать про меня в интернете,
So next time on part 4, we get to see Julia getting frustrated with Natalie also. And we're going to see Sophie apparently unleash some screenshots on Rob and some other stuff. I think that's going to be the last part. I think it's fizzling out at this point. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all of you so much. Please come back for more. I will keep these recaps coming. I'm sorry it's not at the speed that some other people are able to, but I just can't right now. Be patient and it'll be better quality. Good things come to those who wait, and better inspiration comes to those with ADHD when they do not have a deadline. So below I'm showing what I do in my audio engineering program to make my voice tracks sound the way they do. D-Man Johnson III has given me so many wonderful compliments on my voice. And it's funny because in real life I have a wretched, raspy, smoker's hag, banshee type of wraith voice, and so this is what the plugin is called, Saturn, but it puts saturation on, and that's what I'm able to do to make my voice track sound a little better. Some of my audio engineering and music production skills transfer through to my video work as well. So yeah, that's how that works.
Thank you so much for tuning in for my YouTube partner special. I appreciate all of you guys for making this a possibility. I couldn't have done it without you. And it truly means the world. The 90% of you that actually enjoy the content. And I don't know, the rest of you, I guess I can't please everyone, right? But good night, guys.